little bit. What am I going to talk about today to start everything off? I don't know.
Oh, of course you do. You're the host. Of course you do.
Of course. I know everything, and it looks like we are live. So, what up, people? It is January 23rd. Can you believe that the first month of 2019 is already almost over? I'm not even used to saying that it's 2019 yet. But anyways, I've had a busy day of not much, just like the massage thing and just venting and being whiny about it being too cold outside. But I know this is not the typical April that it should be, but we haven't gotten this much snow in a long time. So I think it's probably around that time where I need to get some snow pants on and go do snow angels in the driveway and hope that there's no dog poop there. But anyways, let's just get this show started because I have some amazing co-hosts today and we are going to talk about some real cool business stuff. So let's get it on, shall we? Yo! Happy Wednesday, everyone! I have my amazing co-hosts today. And what's funny is that I feel like this is the first time that the tables are turning where I have them as a guest on some of my stuff, and they've been so gracious. And we'll talk about how we met and all the interactions that we've had super soon. But I would love to introduce you guys to the And I Thought ladies, Jade and Wilnono. Say hello, ladies!
Hello! It feels like I should be like, welcome to the women's team, but I can't. So welcome to Cheerful.
Yes, welcome to Cheerful Minds. I feel like I can't match your...
Yeah, we're going to be like, welcome to Cheerful Conversations. So, this is episode 23, I think.
What?
So, yes, I've done 23 of these so far, and my goal is to do 21 a year. So, episode 23, this is amazing. And today we're going to talk about blowing up your brand. So anybody who is a business owner or is aspiring to be a business owner, we're going to talk about some really interesting stuff today related to the business front. And we always start by having our guests talk a little bit about what it is that they do. And this would be very appropriate because we're going to talk about branding and how their brand meshes in with the actual work that they do in their business. So why don't you guys tell everyone what you guys do? And I know that there's a lot. So what are?
Hold on, let me breathe in so we can get it all out.
Oh, okay. Really? Are you taking it?
I'm going to take some of it. Okay. So we're authors of books. We call them literary life guides with pop poetry because who wants to read literary, you guys? And I Thought series and the Misfit Guide series, which is just like really upside down, Winona?
This isn't normally my job. Keep talking.
Oh, buddy. Sorry. I'm back. The Misfit Guide series. It's just like Winona and I talking about how we had crooked footprints and all these things are going on, and yet it seemed to work out for the better.
Oh, so you just took the books?
Yeah, I just took the books.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna hand you some other stuff.
All right. We also are the editors of the 25 hottest authors, artists, and advocates magazine.
Authors.
Yes. We have our own literary magazine. We are Star and Just Right in Life. I always check with Jade because she's like yes or no. She always tells me if I can say it.
It's the docu-series. Don't let her say it's a reality show. It's not. It's a lie.
It's not. It's a docu-series about celebrity poets.
Oh, I don't call myself a celebrity. People just know who I am. It's me.
Oh, tell that story one day. It was a story when she got recognized. I'm still ticked about that story. But anyway, Just Right in Life. We have our Roku TV channel. That's the And I Thought.
And we do our podcast, which is the Women's Cave.
There you go. Is that it?
Yeah. Wait. And we do Inspiration to Women in Literature, Media, and Journalism. I will be March 16th of this year.
Yep, of 2019.
Yeah.
And this year we're going to do something different and new. We're doing, I think we're only going to do it once. It's the literary practical day. So we got invited to this thing where people from around the nation came together and talked about the problems that are happening. And we figured the literary community should step up and do its part. So we're going to do that day. And last but not least, we are the founders of the End I Thought Thoughtful Book Festival.
A virtual festival.
Look at that. So, I mean, I know these ladies to like dip their hands in anything in terms of just, you know, being creative. They've got the books, they've got the podcast, they've got the TV shows. I will say that these two have inspired me to be like, oh, if I want to be on TV, I can do it, because they have actually taken some of the things that seem very inaccessible and making them extremely accessible to people. And so I look at them as an inspiration to a lot of the things that I do that I'm like, no, I'm not able to, because they do it all. And it's just amazing to have had our paths cross. And so we met because when my book came out, right, I had a publicist who was reaching out to everyone, this, that, and the other, you know, just trying to see what we could do to help push the book out in the world and get more people knowing about it. And so I got to be on the Women's Cave, right? Was that the first thing?
Yeah.
They made me sing in a video, which I was like terrified about, but now I do it all the time. So it's so much history here in terms of how my interaction with these two has kind of changed my life in a sense. But and also we got to meet in person.
Yeah.
When was that? Was that like
last year and
Twice last year.
twice?
Yeah.
Twice? Oh yeah. Okay, so we saw each other in 2018 when my family went to DC for vacation during Veterans Day weekend.
Again. DC is not a vacation place.
It was fun. Like I ran to the Pentagon and then I like figured out that I kind of got lost and I had to figure my way back and I had to cross some busy roads. But that's when I was running back in the day. And then we saw each other in March at the conference. So yay! It's awesome. Are you guys doing it in the same place?
No.
No. We're having it in Maryland this year because we said we don't feel like getting on a plane. We just don't feel like it. We want to drive.
Can we tell the story?
Sure.
Okay, it's just really quick. And if Jade hits me, you guys need to like comment about that.
Don't comment. Don't comment. She just
no, really. The reason that we decided not to do it this year is because we got on the plane last year. It was windy, and I've flown in March before. She hasn't. Like, because when you come down landing and the winds are really strong, it feels weird. Yeah, she was like, I'm never doing it again. Every landing was horrible, and it was absolutely horrible. And she was like, yeah, never flying again in March. So we don't fly until April.
Okay.
Stay home. I'm glad you let me tell it.
Oh man, I have no problem with that. Yes, I'm aware. Yes, the guy was course correcting while trying to land. I couldn't do it. I was like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore.
Anyway, moving on quickly.
Yeah. I know that like
your show
it was colder than normal, and it was like California, but it was pretty chilly. It might have even been warmer in Chicago, which is crazy because we've had a few mild winters, but or just as the similar temperature. But yeah, so I remember that there was a lot of flight issues and all that stuff back then. So okay, well that's good because have everybody come to you, and it'll be great. So
easier for us.
Yeah. And I get to sleep in my own bed, which is exciting.
You are not. I'm staying at the hotel. I already booked your hotel room.
Well, leading up to it, it'll be like my own bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you got an award last year. Just wanted to say that. She is an award recipient from last year. It's a
I forgot about that. I was like, yeah, thank you. Okay, so what was I going to say? Oh, so the next thing I want to ask you guys is there something that you can share that you guys both geek out on or separately geek out on that has nothing to do with all of this stuff that you do as part of your work? So something unique and something crazy about you, like, oh, I like to eat peanuts or something like that. That could have sounded like not peanuts. I said peanuts, everyone. Okay. So what's something that you geek out on?
I have two. Well, one is, I guess people would say that's kind of related to my work. I love to read. So yeah, reading is life, and I totally my outfit is out. I need to get the book right. Yeah, I am the pre-order queen. I will pre-order it. I'm so excited. And my second thing is sign language. I love sign language in my past life. If I retired to do this, I was definitely a sign language interpreter, so I geek out on sign language and reading all those technical books, which is weird, but I love it. So.
I think this is like, is this thank you?
Yes, thank you.
I was going to say, we're going to prove that to you.
Oh, we have to. Really? No business? Yeah, so I wasn't, she was joking, by the way. So yeah, I was a sign language interpreter, and so my sign language is like.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, Nana.
What do I geek out on? I am actually a geek, so that's not
comic books.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Any and all Doctor Who.
Whovian.
I'm not a real Whovian who's going to be like, I compare the 1971s against the ones today. I'm not one of those. I just love to watch Who and know random little technical facts about Who. Not the really like deep Whovian. Just I love Who. I can't miss Who.
Nice.
And junk television.
Junk television. Yeah. Okay, what's your junk TV indulgence lately?
Nashville, since it's over, I'm like binge watching all of Nashville. It has been quite enjoyable. Oh, that's another odd thing about me. I love country music more than all other music right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Everyone comes, when they come meet us, they're like, oh, did you hear this song? And I'm like, I'm a country music girl. And they go, you're a what now?
You'd be like, where's my cowboy hat and my boots?
That's pretty much. Oh, yes. I love those. Not the hat, the boots. My hair is too cute for that.
She went through this odd phase where she just wore like country boots in school. So that was hilarious.
Yeah, I learned quickly in middle school that is not the correct thing to do. So. It did not follow into my adult life. I'm sorry.
All right. Are we ready for what's next? I was looking at this thing. So this is the icebreaker question, which I'm about to pull out. I have no idea what the question is, but we're all going to answer it. We're going to see.
Please, if we're breaking ice, can we make pina coladas or something with it? Like margaritas?
No, margaritas. Like pina coladas. Nobody has time for pina coladas.
Okay. All right, so I'm just going to pick one of these cards. And let's see what comes up with it. Okay, cool. Let me just put these back. The question is, I don't know if you can see this with the light, but what is one thing you wish you could change about the world and why?
I wished that they would have more interpreters and were more accessible for the deaf, because some of my friends, like sometimes they need an interpreter and there's just not one available. So
going into surgery and not knowing what's going on and the procedural steps, and someone's writing it down for you.
Yeah.
Or you're going to the doctors and they're like, oh, I don't want to pay for an interpreter. We could just write it out. I can't understand you when you're talking to me and I hear you. So that's what I would change.
Yeah. Awesome.
More accessibility. Sorry, I know, downer, right?
No, that's not a downer. Well, Nana, what do you want to change about the world?
Since you did the serious thing, I want
to be more famous,
right? And like, I just want to be more famous. On the A-list. Like, I should replace Brad Pitt, Angelina, Beyonce, Jay-Z. All of them should be gone, and they should just be.
She's joking.
I'm joking. I'm so joking. No, but on the serious note, I would definitely want to change the laws and have the same senior laws for financial abuse for women that enter relationships, because the beginning of abuse is first verbal and then financial and then actual physical abuse. So if we could catch it in that middle stage, just like you can catch it with a senior, because we have laws for that, and it has to be reported, or else they held the financial institution responsible. If we had those same laws, we could save a lot of lives and a lot of hearts, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
If you live through it, you still have all that scar tissue on your heart.
Yeah.
Once again, if we can't do that, just make me famous.
Awesome. Okay. What would I change about the world? I feel like this is like a no-brainer. It's the desire for more positivity in the world. But I think one of the things that, and I probably have mentioned this in some of my other shows, but, to be able to, create you know, entertainment that is not so, you know, focused on like perfectionism and having to be like the top of the line everything, because it makes people feel like it's unattainable. And I know that there's technology, and you know, you want to watch a show that, you know, is well produced or whatever, and I get that, but like to just be more about real life and not, you know, not always, I mean, and not saying like we want more reality TV shows, right? Like we don't want like reality that's like somewhat scripted to, you know, to make people have conflict or whatever, but like to just highlight more of what's really going on in the world. And maybe that's not as exciting, but I don't know. I mean, I don't care. I just don't want, I crave authenticity. And so I really draw myself towards shows that are telling stories about real things that are happening to real people. So I just want more of that. Just so you guys know.
Awesome.
Yeah, so she wants more like our show, just actually done well.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
Well, Nona is the queen.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the Amazon show, have you? No.
I saw like some of the first bits when you guys sent it to me before. I was like, look at this. How do you get your show? Like, how does all of this work? It's just inspiration. How do you do it? I'll just play on YouTube for the meantime, and then figure out the next step when I'm ready. So cool. We're all changing the world.
We'll definitely tell you.
I know you will. I think I'm not ready to hear it, because then I'll get too excited and then I will stop all the things that I'm in the process of doing. Like my audiobook is still not out. Like I said that I was going to do this like a year ago, and it's almost done. It's like 98% done, and I'm just not getting it done. So anyways.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Okay, you got 98%. Just tell them the next 2% will be on the next book.
Yeah, right? And I feel like I should have, one of the things that this is a total interjection, one of the things that I felt like I needed to do before I sat in this chair, because I have this new fancy, I'll show everybody. I have this new fancy
Go show us.
Purple chair. Do you see this? This is my purple chair.
Love it.
I got it for Christmas from my brother. Thank you, brother, and his wife. So thanks, Drew and Mona. But it's leather, or something like leather. So when I sit in it and I move, it makes like farty noises. So I did a podcast with somebody over the weekend, and they're like, "Why don't you sit on a blanket?" And I'm like, "That's genius." But I forgot to bring that here today. So if you hear any like farting noises, I'm not farting, for real. Okay. Interjection.
And even if she does, you'll never know.
You'll never know. Exactly. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do before we start diving into talking about branding is sharing cheerful news stories, because we want to make sure that we're pushing the happy content that exists in the world in the best way that we can. So why don't you guys go first in terms of the article that you guys found? I know that you found a couple, but which one do you want to share?
Oh, okay. I want to talk about the ChickfilA lady, that the employee that fed the disabled guy. She saw that he needed help and came on over and fed him and sat on down. I mean, for no recognition, for nothing, just because she has a heart. And that's amazing to me, because that's what I would do.
Yeah. I remember when I heard this being covered once on the radio station, and they're like, so many awesome people seem to work for ChickfilA. It's like you have to have a heart to work there. And it just made me really want a Chick-fil-A sandwich more. See, she took this serious, so all I have left is the fact that now I want Chick-fil-A.
No, now I want it too. Like the Chick-fil-A sauce is so good. We actually, when we were in DC that weekend that we saw you, we went to Chick-fil-A with one of our friends, with our kids, because, you know, it's like, ooh, chicken nuggets or whatever. So, yeah, but they just opened one in my hometown. And it's about like 25 minutes away from our house, but we drive to just go and get it sometimes.
Yeah, because sometimes you just need Chick-fil-A. You need it in your life. Your body says, that's nice, Chick-fil-A. Oh, okay.
You're like, Yeah, I normally do it for breakfast. It's just perfect. Can we get off subject just a moment real quick?
Sure.
Subject.
Yes. So if they build a Zaxby's in your neighborhood, go there too. And then
what's it called?
Zaxby's. ZAXBY''S.
It's so
if they build
good.
one of those, just go.
ZAX?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
Yes, because Zaxby's is so good. Actually, I have a dance that goes with Zaxby's. So
Yeah, she does.
I'll check it out.
When I have like a Zaxby's sandwich, I have to do a whole dance. I'm excited.
Apparently, our positive news wasn't good enough. We had to add positive food to it too.
Well, it's the vitamin.
It's all good. And going back to the Chick-fil-A idea, I think that there was a news story that I heard about Chick-fil-A again, where you know how Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays, right? I think. Yeah. So they did something where they opened, I don't know, don't quote me, I'm probably saying it wrong, but they opened a Chick-fil-A, like, I don't know if it was in this area or somewhere in like Ohio or something, Indiana, I don't know. But for like some kid who maybe either had like autism, I'm totally doctoring up this story, but they opened it up on a Saturday so that the kid, I guess he had this dream to like work the drive-through, and that could also be like totally made up in my mind. But I remember hearing this on the radio and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then it made me hungry for Chick-fil-A. So that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I was like, oh, that's so cool. I was like, I wish that I was there that Sunday so that I could eat the food on a Sunday when it's not available. But I think it's genius to not have it all available all the time, because it's like, is it not Sunday? Let's go to Chick-fil-A. It's kind of genius on their part.
And then, they originally did it because, well, they are a faith-based religion, faith-based business. So it was a faith decision. But then it also was to give time for the family to be with your family. Yeah. And I thought that was a really awesome idea. And then I was like, well, how are you supposed to make money? Because most people go out to eat on Sunday mornings because they don't want to cook. So I've always wondered why. And then I was like, but you know, if you want Chick-fil-A, you're just going to go on Saturday and get the catering order. So you're making 3 times the amount. So it works. Yeah. Like, we'll just heat it up and I'll have it Sunday.
And then that is interesting too, because I feel like, you know, not so many people do that. They're always thinking about the money and, you know, how is this business going to be more profitable? But usually when you set those limitations, it almost makes, you know, it makes people think, just like I was saying, like, oh, is it not Sunday? Hey, we could go to Chick-fil-A. And there's a little bit more excitement around that because, you know, that first day that you go to try to go to the, you know, Chick-fil-A to pick up something on a Sunday and you realize it's not there, it's like, I just want to eat, you know? So I think that it's good. And I mean, people will adjust if you set your own boundaries. And so I think that that's super cool and like a great way to, you know, do your business your way, which I think is also going to be such a great transition into our branding conversation.
Segue! A high five, segue, man.
This is how you need to be on your own show.
What?
Segued correctly.
Love it.
Yeah. It took us a year and a half to get that thing done right. We'd be like, okay, segue now.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, I just didn't even think about it, but I was like, ooh, that's really, really cool. So let's talk branding in a sense. So we were just talking about Chick-fil-A, you know, we all know their branding, right? It's like the cows that are like, thanks for, you know, thanks for whatever. I don't even know, but it's like the chicken is like spelled wrong, and it's all about the cows like being so grateful to like keep going to Chick-fil-A so that they get their lives spared, which is so catchy and it's awesome. And then they've got some of the things that they do in the ways that they run their business. They're not open on Sundays. I know that like the car industry, at least here in Illinois, is not open on Sundays, which I think it's like part law, but then it gives them like a day to rest, but it also lets people like not go crazy trying to buy cars over the weekend, and people have to adjust. But so all businesses, you know, sometimes there's businesses that do similar things and they just run things differently. I was talking to somebody yesterday about the difference between like Uber and Lyft. And to be honest, I really don't know what the branding is in terms of, you know, who they target or how they're any different, because it's either like Uber or Lyft, which one's cheaper, or Uber or Lyft, one's black logo, one's pink logo, or, you know, maybe in certain places people like Uber over Lyft depending on the situation. But this all goes into the branding conversation in terms of what type of business you are and how you use that to you know, to put a message out about who you are and what you do and all that. So let's turn it to us for a second. I think, and I'll talk about my brand a little bit, but like, how would you guys, with the whole And I Thought Ladies movement and all of that, everything that you guys do, how would you describe your brand to other people, especially anybody who's in my community that hasn't seen the stuff that we've done together yet?
Well, first, it was very interesting because we weren't planning on being a brand, right?
Not
we
at
were just
all.
going to be authors and, okay, we're going to write one book, and I Thought Divorce Was Bad. And this one, yeah, that book. So, and I Thought Divorce Was Bad. That was going to be it. Maybe another one, we'll see. And we were talking to someone, we were on this show, and afterwards they said, this is going to be a great brand. You need to take it and you need to do the and I thought because it's so sarcastic and tongue-in-cheek. Please do it.
We didn't want to.
We didn't want to. But we were like, okay, we'll think of a second. So, and then we became the ladies because somebody was like, you should really brand. And an author that was with us really kind of forced us overnight. And so one of the first things we thought about with branding was our clothes.
Clothes? Yeah.
Clothes.
Color first. No.
Colors.
Because what she's doing is really nicely. I just want to say that anyone who ever listens to any other interview and I explain it, you will get the bad behind the scene, in depth, I'm still pissed off with you answer.
I'm so pissed off with you. It's not.
I'm still not that happy with you answer, but she did this really nice. Just say that. So
I'm the PR queen. This one, I will spin anything.
The reason she says clothes was because when we started off, we literally had to do it in 24 hours because one of our authors wanted us to do it. And they weren't showing up for the next interview. And
which was in 24 hours.
It was a little less because it was 8 a.m. at a radio station. And she had let us know around 9 a.m. that morning. Yeah. So we came up with a solution. So our first real question was color. What color is going to go with everything that we plan on doing? And everything that we've already done, what color embodies it? And we went with purple because this book is about life and relationships and everything, but it also has abuse in it, about getting over domestic abuse, emotional abuse, and that sort of stuff. So we chose purple because that is the color of surviving domestic abuse, and that went with our platform at the time. It still does. So that was the first thing that we really thought about. And then when we picked purple, she was like, she wanted it to be more of a darker purple because she had an entire, let me just go with this. She's a stylist. So she had an entire clothing thing. Vision that went with our purple pen.
She picked color and I said, oh, great. So we can do vintage purple.
Yeah. So that's how we ended up with this look as a brand. And this is how we ended up with our mainstay color, which is purple. Anyway, so that's how we started off with branding. But you do a better job of it. Yes. Much better. Because I'm looking at the sign right here with success and the balance and it's so cool.
My book.
Yeah. The purple.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting because I love, and I think I did a little mini like IGTV episode about the color purple because my hairstylist, who then helped me make my hair a little bit more purple, she was like, so why is it that you wanted purple? And I think when I was starting my business, there was this idea of the branding of me. I came up with the Cheerful Mind first because there was this whole idea of what is it that I stand for and what's a business that I can be passionate about? And it has to do something with positivity. I have no idea what that's going to turn out to be. It's turned into coaching, but I feel like there's still going to be more that's going to manifest as this goes. Like, I don't think my business is going to only be all about coaching, and you'll probably see some changes in that over the next 3 years or so. But just thinking about, okay, if I'm going to do this website, I know that the very first website I did had no purple in it. Even the second website had no purple in it because I was working with templates. But with the first event that I did, which was like an interview series, I was like, okay, I need to actually design a banner for this website. And I wanted to think about like energetic colors. And purple was a color for high school and college for me. So that was going to be a part of it. But then I was also looking at things like orange, like a bright orange, or teal, things that had some sort of energy and charge to them, or maybe even some sort of like neon neon capabilities, because right, I'm the chief energy officer, and so thinking about colors in that respect, that was, for me, the color didn't come into play in my branding until much later, but it was more of the concept of, who, like, what is the persona that, or what's the energy around this business that I'm going to create, not even knowing what it's going to sell, not even knowing like what it's going to turn into, but there was some aspect of positivity, fun, lightheartedness, energy, and so that was the first little bit for me. And I would say that, because of that, like that is, and the more that I've started to embody the colors, right? I'm wearing a light purple today, but I normally have dark purple nails. Once I started doing like the purple in my hair, it looks kind of pink right now, but
I can definitely see the purple. I was like, yes, love it.
It's cool. I love it. Now that I have the purple in my hair, it's like, oh, I gotta tone it down a little bit, because I would have the purple chair, or a purple bag, or a purple shoes, and it was great. But now that I have purple hair, it's or like little streaks of purple in my hair, I'm like, oh, this might start to get a little tacky. But I've been embodying the color a lot more, and it definitely does set a certain tone for your brand. So I think that that's definitely something that you need to think about in terms of the branding. So if you were to take a look, because I was saying that the color came secondary, or came later on for me as part of my brand, and I was thinking about the persona. How would you describe like the persona of the And I Thought Ladies brand?
Let's see, the persona of the And I Thought Ladies brand. Some people call us the Bourbon Girls, so that probably is our persona.
Yeah.
Probably is our persona.
When you were saying about like color and everything, I come from Annapolis of Vip, and we owned it together. Actually,
we didn't own that. We worked for it.
For a minute, we owned it for a minute.
Whatever, we did something.
Yeah, anyway.
We did work.
But the point was, like, we had done this before. So when you're saying the persona, that's actually where the color came from, was if you met the And I Thought Ladies as a person, if it was a person, what would you want to like look across the room and go, oh, that person is. Mm-hmm. And that's where the colors and
the look came from.
The font, the look, that's where it all comes from, because you want that person to be playful but classy,
ladies,
and taken seriously. So like they can make a joke, but when it comes down to business, you will listen to them because they know what they're doing. And you want them to be classy, because classy fits no matter where it is in life. You can come someplace underdressed, but if you're classy with it, you can make it work. You can come someplace overdressed, but if you're classy with it, you can make it work. And I think that's more what our brand is. It's about being classy.
About being classic.
Having fun with it and being classic. And I think that's why we like to call ourselves the lady.
Yes.
Did I answer your question, or did I just beat around a bush for no reason?
No, you did. I think, I think that is what I'm going for. Yeah, because there's you were talking about the clothes and just how you carry yourself, and I think that does play a huge part in your brand. There's a lot of that personality that shines through in the way that you present yourself, right? Or maybe it's even the color schemes or that visual piece. Now, I think that there's also something about brand that involves like the feeling that you get when you're looking at a brand, right? Like when you think about, let's talk about some other, like, so Fanta, the soda, right? You've got those like wanna Fanta, like the very energetic, vibrant colors. Like you think of that brand as very vibrant, very energetic. You might look at something like what's something what?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. How would you describe that? Like if Coca-Cola had a personality, like what would you say?
It depends on which Coke I had. If it was the plastic bottle, like the nice glass bottle, definitely Coca-Cola. Thinking of plastic, but I don't know. I was planning on Coke because when you think Coke, you don't think anything else but a red label and white writing. Like that comes to your mind with a dark soda.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that there's definitely a classiness to Coca-Cola, even just the way that they do it, or even Pepsi too. Just those big beverage brands where it's like we're everywhere, and we relate to all different people. I was thinking about like a sophisticated brand like
Scotch. Oban.
What?
We are the bourbon girls after all, so I'm immediately gonna go with Oban. It's a nice 12-year age Scotch. It starts at $75 a bottle for their bare minimum pourableness. And it's classic. It's classy.
Yeah.
Chanel.
Designer stuff, definitely.
Yeah, designer stuff. Whereas, and if you think about like what other brands kind of stick out. So there was this one brand that I was really into in like the early 2010s, which is like Vera Bradley, which was like the patterny, like, and I love the patterns, but then I was like, no, but I don't know. One of my old boss actually, like, she bought them and I was like, ooh, I love that pattern. And I don't love all the patterns, but I just love the florally part of it. Mm-hmm. But then, it was interesting because then I like saw, and this is so mean for me to say for all of my older friends, but like it was more of like an older brand, right? And I was like, oh, interesting. And I think one of the things in terms of functionality, because these bags were fabric, it's like they look great, but like they're fabric and they are going to wear really easily, and you walk in the rain and they get wet, and so functionally they weren't as great as they would be.
I'm sorry, I have to ask Jay. Jay, did you have that problem? Because I still see your Vera Bradley on a regular basis.
I have my gym bag's Vera Bradley.
Oh, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, we've got our bowling bag is Vera Bradley. I must have bought like every single style of bag, and I even have I have like a garment bag that's Vera Bradley, but it's like a pattern that's like navy blue but like pink flowers, and I love that combination. So not to say that it was bad, but it was like, oh, okay, I think I'm gonna switch brands.
I think I
compared to like a Louis Vuitton, which is gonna function no matter what.
I think I bought that Vera Bradley because my friend was like, you can wash it after you put your gym shoes in it and stuff. You want something that you can wash, so that's why I put that.
Yeah,
but definitely back to Louis
and
Vuitton.
I think too, in terms of there's this one brand of so one of the brands that I like shopping for is like Michael Kors, right? That it's like they're very classy, but they're kind of affordable. It's not, I don't even know, like a Coach bag is probably in the hundreds and hundreds, where you could maybe only spend like $100-something on something from Michael Kors, or they've got shoes and so, but it has that designer feel, even though it's a little bit more affordable than like a Burberry purse or something like that. So that's it's interesting. What?
That's my next purchase.
That's your next purchase?
I want a Burberry purse to go with a Burberry coat to go with Burberry boots. But anyway, yes, we were on Michael Kors and being classic and functional and affordable, which are three very important things to think about when you're starting a business and or a brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of things that these brands kind of like emulate in terms of trying to, target the right people. I mean, and that's what it's all about, right? You put out that certain energy, and that's going to be the type of people you attract, right? If you like Barney the dinosaur, you're probably a kid, right? Not almost 40-year-old adult. I am not a fan of Barney. I don't think I've ever have been. So no, I love all people. I love Barney, but Barney's not my jam. Sorry. But it's so important to embody that brand so that you know who you're targeting. So, when I think about my brand, I think a lot of it is like, hey, I like to put out very well produced things. I care about the prestige and quality of things that I do, and that's important. But at the same time, I also want there to be like, I almost want it to be like not entirely perfect, because I feel like that's not realistic, right? There's this piece of, if there's no flaws, then she must be, so successful and working hard, and maybe she has no issues at all. And that's not life. And especially as somebody who is, doing work, helping other people kind of battle perfectionism or really just trying to embrace who they are on a more authentic level, for me to have a brand that's like, hey, I'm perfect all the time and I'm always wearing makeup and I'm always on and I never say like or what, or being in that role doesn't match my brand because it's not real. And I prioritize that realism of, you know, wanting to be somebody who is relatable and real. And so that's something that I thought about when I was thinking about my branding. It's like, yes, I used to do things where I like wouldn't even put it out in the world until it was perfect, you know, like studio quality, like all that stuff. But it limits you. So I don't do that in terms of, you know, in terms of my brand. It's like, hey, if I'm going to just randomly start crying in a video, like I'm still going to share it because people cry, and whatever you're going to think about that is totally up to you. But, and this kind of goes back to why I want there to be more real stuff on television and stuff like that in entertainment. So yep.
Oh, so we both value authenticity.
Yeah.
I mean, your authenticity is awesome. Our authenticity is very authentic.
It's very us being floundering at all times.
Yes.
But I think that people think, especially things that hold people back and shut their own doors. Oh, I'm not going to be like this small business owner because they had all their ducks in a row. But if you're owning a small business, it doesn't matter how much planning you do. We are still living this thing called life. So monkey wrenches are going to come. It's about how you deal with those monkey wrenches.
Absolutely.
See your success or your failure, but failures aren't really failures because you just learn to have a bigger success.
Yeah, it's always on the road to the next thing. It's
right, and I think that to show that yes, I am a business owner and I'm doing this, but I don't all the time make 100% good decisions, or the things don't always turn out the way I planned. But sometimes the least planned things are the best things.
Yeah,
I know that's how my life goes.
Yeah.
I don't plan it a lot, and then it turns out to be fantastic, or what I planned turns out to be the complete opposite. Yeah. I love it that much more.
And those are the best things too, because if it happens, if everything happens as it's unplanned, it's like there was no work. It wasn't. There was no effort put into it, and it just kind of happened, which is awesome because we all want more time in our day.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Totally. I want more time to read all of my books that I have on Kindle, which is a lot.
Oh,
yeah. I'm working on that right now.
I actually caught up on all my junk TV, so now I have to go back to doing the real work. Whereas she never runs out of books. I'm sorry, that was completely random and way out of place. So
see, not authenticity.
Yeah. Would you say that like part of your branding is just like the random offhand commentary, like, oh yeah, by the way, here's this what this means?
Absolutely, exactly. That is actually part of our branding, and we might have done that on purpose, or might not have. I think that's really just our personality shining through. Like,
yeah, you guys have like a spunkiness to you. I remember when I did that first interview with you guys, and you're like, okay, so we're gonna banter. That's just part of our stuff. Like, we're gonna do that, and so just hang out, and then we'll introduce you. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And definitely the dynamic between you two, you guys play out really, really well off of each other, and it's really
kind of funny because sometimes it feels like doing that banter, like we're downloading the whole week. Yeah. And like a banter, we're like, hey, by the way, did I forget to tell you?
I find it interesting for your show though, that you don't have a person, but you can carry that entire energy by yourself. I'm like, I don't know how she does that without being tipsy or high, but either way,
high.
She does
what? Not coffee. No,
she's high on life.
I was gonna be like, me high is probably not good because it would be like, hey. I would be like chill. I'd be like, I just want to sleep and I'm hungry, which might not be a bad thing, but that's what I would see if I were to ever do this show, like high or whatever. I don't know. It would not be good.
I live on coffee though.
Yeah,
coffee and biotin. I think that's what's doing in life. And I'm telling our trade secrets right there. Vitamin B's are important, you guys, for energy.
Vitamin B. Do I have that? I can't even
check with your doctor first though, because I don't know. But check with your doctor, but vitamin B for me, that's my life.
It's all good. Awesome.
I was going to say, someone recently just asked about how we keep this up because I'm allergic to coffee. So I can't drink coffee. I can't drink caffeine. Mm-hmm. I'm allergic to caffeine. So she was like, how do you do it? And we're like, yeah, biotin, reishi.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of like.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, this has nothing to do with our brand. I mean, besides
or maybe it does. Or maybe
our brand naturally came around and it's random. Don't you maybe want to share the story briefly, because we interviewed someone who's really professional, and she was like, you've kind of worked it into your brand that even if you make a mistake and if you knock over your set, you can just play it off and you just keep going. And she's like, so just keep it. That's just gonna work, and people are gonna be like, it's authentic. And that's great. And we've never ever had to practice that. It just happened. Kind of like how you're bouncy and adorable. It just happened. But so serious. I'm thoroughly jealous.
I know, right? Well, we should like pull,
let me put the
professionalism.
So did you want to segue again?
Oh, did I want to segue again? Maybe. My son does that all the time. Maybe. Yeah, so let's segue and talk about, okay, so one of the things that when I was planning for this show, there was this thought of, we want to talk about branding, but then I think that we also wanted to talk about how you take your branding to the next level. And the ways that I thought about that were, brands can evolve, right? Like the logo for, I'm trying to think of different, I think Chipotle's logo used to be something and now it's something else. Or, you see logos change, or you see the way that people, things present themselves in a different light. And so it changes the look, but does that necessarily change the personality or what that is? But so, and coming from the perspective of business owners who are looking to take their branding to the next level, like what if down the road, let's say 2 or 3 years from now, I'm like, I want to change my entire look because it just needs to be revived or it needs to do something. How do you take this brand to the next level, and what types of things do you preserve as part of the brand, like as things change and evolve, or what do you toss, or is anything fair game?
I'm going to say, when you started a business, you had your core things. And I think your core things never change. Like Twinkies, right? They are Twinkies. You're not gonna mess with that. You can mess with the outside of it, but you're not gonna mess. If someone picks up a Twinkie, they're expecting a cake full of icing. That's what they're expecting. That's what they want. Okay, you can put whatever you want on the cellophane. That's fine. I want a Twinkie. This is what I expect. So that core Twinkie, whatever's on the outside. So like for you, you're cheerful. You're Cheerful Conversations. So if you were to one day say, I'm going to change everything, and then you became...
I'm going to do angry conversations.
Angry conversations or humdrum conversations. Right. Or something like that. People, well, that's too much. But if you want to say, I'm ditching purple for blue, okay, great. She ditched purple for blue. That's fantastic.
Become more serious. So you would do like, as a and then there you have a very serious guest, but you would keep your core cheerfulness because it just matches.
It's you.
But change anything and everything else you want.
So you think about in your business, what is you? Because in life, everything evolves. You learn, you evolve, and that's how you go. But the person that you knew 20 years ago generally is that core person.
Yeah.
20 years later.
So that takes us back to the beginning where I was saying the person, if your business were a person, what personality traits would they have? What would it? So let's say that your business as a person walked back into a party and it's like a reunion. What would the people in that room expect to still be the same? If you walked into your class or a high school reunion, what would they expect to see?
I would still be 5 feet tall.
Right.
Okay.
Because if you walked in there and you were 6 feet, they would be like, what kind of, what
giant pills are you taking?
Right. They would ask you that. And so
I got leg implants.
Yeah, or something like that. So you have to think about.
So that becomes something that I'm not quite sure how I would equate that. Normally my brain is working faster, but these flowers smell really good and my Benadryl is now kicking in. It's like I'm slowly dying. But anyway, whatever you can equate to that for your business is what you would keep. So try to keep 3 things that someone when they read, no matter what you did to the outside, the website, the font, the change, whatever, whoever you switched out, when they came back, these are the 3 things that they are going to expect from me. Just keep those. Anything else is up for game.
I guess for us, it would be our silliness, like our banter and our ingenuity, because people expect us to do something new, and then we write stuff, and so they would expect that. Like if we went and we were like, we color our hair all like flaming purple now, you go, oh, okay, they're just doing that now, but they're still funny. They're still this, and they're still gonna come up with new ideas and push the indie community forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to say for the expansion of your brand, because you had asked about that before.
Yeah.
And I'm actually semi-prepared. So yes, I want to answer this question. No. So, okay. Yeah. Good.
Oh, she has notes.
Wow, she's prepared. Oh, look at this.
It was who you know. That's normally what she talks about.
Who you know.
What do they, and then of course it goes, what do they want? Because we're going to skip over who you know, but what do they want? Jade over here took our brand and she pushed it to other people. Like most people go, oh, your friends and family buy your stuff. And then she made a bigger web for us about who you know. And then as she talked to them, we found like there were certain things that they wanted. And so we keep those things, which you just mentioned, the ingenuity, the silliness, and that. Mm-hmm. All right. Continuing to expand.
I love these notes.
Where you connect.
Where you connect.
Where you connect. This is my ground, so I can actually talk.
Oh, that's why you skipped over my ground. Okay, cool. I love it. I love it.
No. We can come back. Do you want
No.
So where you connect, that's like when you think about the chain of why someone would buy something from you. Like if you had a hair salon and you would know that people come to you for haircuts or they come to you to get it colored or to straighten, that's wonderful. But where can you connect to that person earlier? What can you do to make them want a haircut? Like if they're shopping for food on Valentine's Day or making a restaurant reservation, have you thought about telling those people at that restaurant that you will give their customers 15% off of a haircut when they make a Valentine's reservation, which now drives people to your place? Because you've connected with them earlier. They're not going to think about their haircut until they finish their reservation. They figured out what they're going to wear. They've made the plans. But if you introduce yourself earlier into the conversation, then you can get more customers. So where you connect is very important to your brand expansion. Hence, how we did that is, yes, we do books, which is a dying art. I mean, all of y'all can wish you could save it, but it's a dying art. So we decided that people who read books want a shorter thing to read. Hence, magazines. More pictures. Still a dying art. We stayed in the medium and it's still dying. We were humorous and we tend to drink hot and hotter tea. And if you don't understand what that means, you'll have to listen to our podcast. So we went into the merchandising section and now we have Flask.
Nice.
This was cool because our books do deal with bourbon and stuff. And then we actually, to go with that, we did a book about cocktails to go with the Flask.
Yeah.
So that way, when you connect, don't go too far away from where you are. Like this one time, Heinz decided they were going to do beans, and people were like, ketchup and beans. No, thank you. They still own beans, but they changed it. So when you decide that you want to expand your brand, you don't go from books and you go, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to open a restaurant with my books that are about poetry.
I mean, you could.
You could.
You can.
But
I hope it gives someone an idea.
You need steps in between.
Yeah.
Unless you're best boy in poets.
So this is really interesting because this is more than just the thought of the brand, but in terms of the types of products and services that you offer, right? So each thing that you're creating is one step kind of outside of the realm, but still kind of part of the circle. And so when you say that, you know, when you're working on your brand, you have to keep those fundamental things as your brand, but as it relates to the offerings that you put on the table. And I think this comes back to when I was talking about earlier, where, you know, people look at me and they think about, okay, Apryl's a life coach. That's awesome. What is also there? There's the authoring side. So yes, it is all my life coaching stories and advice all in a book. So now I've kind of delved into that. And then, doing things like shows is taking that same medium of pushing content and doing it in a visual way. And I think that that's definitely the direction that I feel that I'm going. But there's also been a side of my business that hasn't been like shared yet, where, I'm a super organized and I'm super like, I'm very, very good at like putting pieces together. Like, I guess if that's production, or like putting together something and creating a final product with it. And I have some passion around that, which I'm not quite sure how that works. But then there's also this piece of, I love looking at processes and figuring out, okay, this is the nebulous thing. Here's how we're going to actually make it happen. And then trying to like manage getting all those things and bringing them all together. And so streamlining and all of that stuff. So thinking about this idea of, I've been doing mostly coaching and helping people figure out how to, do this in their lives. But do I want to take that to a place where I'm starting to process or starting to offer services or products that help make things more efficient? And then there's the other piece of, hey, I'm in the motivation, inspiration business, right? So t-shirts or coffee mugs or something like that. Is that something that I really want to do? There's definitely ways where you can expand the brand and continue to use that to leverage how your, the different offerings that you have, as long as it stays within that circle of the things that you do. So I think that's basically really interesting.
Our box is our books. Like, our books are in the box. They're firmly inside the box. And then we do, as you said, we drew a circle around the box, and these are the other things. So you have to really think about, okay, especially when she was talking about her, the haircutting and illustration. So you have haircuts. Okay, so people want to go out to dinner, or they're going to go to stores because they have a special occasion, or they're just wanting to take care of themselves. So you think about, okay, so massage therapy people, I need to be in contact with them, because then we can have that network where I can send my haircut people, my hairstylist people, to this massage therapist or to this personal shopper, because you're getting your hairstyle for a reason. Sometimes it's just to look good, and sometimes it's going on a date and I have no idea what I'm going to wear. Mm-hmm. I have a person for that.
And she's our person. Can you tell?
I love it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I did my whole series thing. I'm done now.
You done with your series thing?
Yes.
So we go back.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you for preparing for me.
You're welcome. Well, welcome. We were like, April's gonna be so proud of us. We love him someday.
We're trying. We were trying to be more like. I'm trying to be more like you.
You guys are so funny. You guys are perfect just the way you are. But it's fun to see you try and like do some surprising things that are like, ooh, that's fun. So we only have a few more minutes, and I wanted to close on this one question that somebody in my audience has asked me, and I don't even know how far back now, but oh no, this might be an actual recent question. This is part of my Ask Apryl Anything series. I feel like I have to have like a Ask Apryl Anything like logo pop up. But anyways, the one question, what?
That would be fun to have.
Yeah. But I can't do it in Zoom because Zoom's limiting. Anyways.
Wait, we can do it for you. Hold on.
Ask Apryl anything.
I love it.
Have your guests do it.
I'm gonna record you guys doing that, and I'll be like, wait. Ask Apryl anything. That's amazing. Okay, so here's a question from one of my, it's like I want to say viewers, followers, somebody in my peep circle.
In your tribe.
In my tribe. Okay, so the question was, and I think that this is good in terms of, talking about branding and business and how those all relate. So the question was, if you could go back in time to when you were starting your business, what insight would you share with what you know now? So how long have you guys been in business?
Actually, it was really funny, right? So I got to tell the story.
Okay.
On Facebook, like the other day, everyone was like, "Oh, happy birthday!" We were like, "Actually, it's not a birthday; it's more like an anniversary." So 3 years.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So how many?
3.
3. Okay. I'm coming up on 4 really soon. I think it's like February 9th. So
love it.
Like, can graduate or something. I think that was the day that I was like, I'm quitting my job. I might have actually started this before I decided to quit my job because I wasn't sure. But yeah, there's definitely a date out there somewhere. So anyways, so 3 years have passed. What would you say, you know, going back in time, if you would have done something differently, what would you do? What would you, you know, what insights would you share to somebody if you had the opportunity to go talk to the people who were starting that day when they told you, hey, you got to make this brand thing happen?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be narcissistic again. And yes, people, I am joking when I say this. I would tell you don't start because it's less competition for me. But no, for real. Like what I would say to myself is to remember advice that my mother gave me before she died, which was that you can only really count on yourself in business. Yeah. So don't spread yourself so thin that if necessary, you couldn't come back and do it yourself. If it started to fall apart, you couldn't come back and take care of it yourself. Like if you've already set up a way that's automated, then don't even worry about that section. No, that doesn't apply.
Or you have really good people like Apryl does.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. But if you're starting a business and you've stretched yourself out to like 26 different areas and you're dependent on those people, if something happens and you'd have to take over, don't stretch yourself that thin until you're ready. Truly ready to have the structure to support it. That does not mean you have 5 people and they take care of 26 things and they each take care of 5 different things. That does not mean that. That means you have 26 people that at least take care of your 26 things plus support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's really good because I mean
that's actually that's like my mantra to you. So now that's what I would tell myself, but at the beginning. But she stole it, so I would tell myself to make sure that you have a cheerleader. I mean, Winona is my cheerleader, obviously, but and I'm her cheerleader. But I think so many people, like we thought we had more cheerleaders and we didn't. So to know who your cheerleaders are. The people that are rah-rahing for you, for real. Not the ones in the gutter trying to pull you down, but the real ones that have the signs for you. And even if it is just one person, that's okay. Because there's going to be times where you're going to say, are we crazy? Or am I crazy for doing this? And the person's going to look at you and be like, you can do it. You're the best. And you're going to say, oh yeah, I am the best. I forgot that for one moment. Now we're back to being the best. So yeah. And make sure you know who they are. Because I mean, Winona's my best friend in the world. And you know, I think that I took that for granted for a lot of years. But in this business, I have really been like, you know, she is my damn person. She is down for everything. I love it.
When we started, we had more people, lots more people. We had lots more managers. We had lots more of everything. And I think this year is our first year where we recognize the difference between a cheerleader.
Well, last year,
a cheerleader and a semi-supporter and a frenemy. And all of that costs us so much money.
And time.
And emotional rebuilding. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Know who your cheerleaders are.
I love that. Yeah, I think
even if it's one person. Or even yourself. Sometimes you got to be your own cheerleader. Fortunately, I have Winona. She's mine.
You're so lucky. You're so lucky.
I am. I really am.
You guys are awesome. If I were to answer that question, I think that the big thing that I take away now, having completed 4 years of this journey, is that you don't have to know all the answers right away. I think, you know, I talk to a lot of people that are like, I'm trying to figure out what my passion is in life and I want to make a business around it or whatnot. But when it comes down to it, if you're the type of person who's creating a business based on your passions, I mean, sometimes it might take time. And if you're concerned about monetizing it right away, make sure that you have the right. And I did have all this stuff. I did have like some cash set aside so that I could make those investments in some of the things that I did when I started early. But I also felt like I really crammed in a lot in those first 2 years. So the last, this past year and you know, ever since my book came out, it was just kind of like, okay, now I just want to cruise. And I almost feel guilty sometimes, feeling like I'm not doing anything, but I did cram all of that hard work into like 2 years, and then but then it was like this feeling of exhaustion. And so now I'm trying to look more at, hey, you don't have to like have a business that's like already out there and have every single answer under the sun figured out, because you might not even like, you whatever that answer is that you might have from the beginning might change, you know, even after 6 months. So allow yourself to be open to opportunities that that might present themselves, like somebody telling you that you need to create a brand out of your out of your little duo or your books and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
when we're finished and we're not live, I'm telling you that story because I can't take it unless I tell this.
I want to.
I get mad all over again.
Yes. But anyways, we are at the end of our show, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to like have had you on my show, and after all of the things that you guys have done for me, it was super, super fun, and we gotta hang out again. So let me know.
Yeah, because you know, Chicago food, that's a thing. That's real.
Yes. We've been talking about Chicago food since like March of 2017. So it's going to it's like the DC area stuff is hotel space is not enough. We totally just hung out at our hotel, like in the lobby, and just had some drinks and snacks. So thank you guys for watching. Episode 24 is coming up next in second week of February. Oh my gosh, it's like going to be close to Valentine's Day. So we'll have to do some love related stuff maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.